Recording. Hi. Okay, Simcha share. That is me. I know words. I am here to give my honest reaction to the show Unorthodox on Netflix, with the help of my sister, who encouraged me to do it, and God, who is giving me life right now to breathe and share what I think might be some cool wisdom with you. So, is Unorthodox perpetuating negative stereotypes about Jewish people? Yes. Is Unorthodox a perfect portrayal to the T of a Hasidic community in Brooklyn? No. Is Unorthodox a really cool piece of TV I would watch a second season of? Yes. So I am an Orthodox Jew, and that gives me as much clout as you think it does to talk about something like this, and to give my honest reaction. I'm not going to tell you all the perfect things they got right or wrong. I think there are enough people picking that apart. I sat and watched it with my husband, who speaks Yiddish and comes from a very, very insular, edge of cult-like community that I think is portrayed here. And we joyfully and gleefully poked at different people's levels of Yiddish speaking. But what I'm noticing in my community, so I'm a part of lots of chats and groups and Orthodox circles, and the reaction to this and to One of Us that came out and to Disobedience, which are all kind of in the vein of exposing the truthful underbelly of a closed-off Jewish world, the reaction to almost all of them has been a lot of defensiveness. So the first thing I see is people picking apart the details of and whether they're accurate or not, right? Like, is the Eruv, which like codifies that it's that you can carry things on Shabbat, is that accurately portrayed? And is the Yiddish perfect? And is the mikvah a real mikvah? And the Streimels are totally not real because Streimels cost $5,000 and they looked super fake. But why are we pointing out all these potential missteps that they have made? When, to be honest, especially with this portrayal, they've clearly gone to great lengths to train actors to speak a new language and to portray a very complicated ritual-based society. Why are we pointing this out? So I think what I'm noticing in my take is that it's a way for us to invalidate their telling of this story. If their details aren't right, then this story simply can't be true. And the pain that we're experiencing is that it is true. There are people like SD, who the amazing Shira from Israel plays, who I love. She's an amazing actress. That story of Esti and the real story of Devorah is true, right? It's her real experience. And there are much worse truths out there. There is a lot of abuse that goes on in these communities, and in any community, right? There could have been a much more negative portrayal. And it's extremely uncomfortable when you're part of a community on the margin to accept consistent negative portrayal of your community and to validate that person's experience, because it is true and it does exist. And I just want to honor Jewish people who have had a lot of negative portrayals of their people, and honor how rarely truly authentic positive portrayals there are for mass audiences, and also honor all the Esties out there who have really painful, traumatic, and abusive experiences with their Jewish communities and also deserve validation for their truth. So I think that's a really hard space that I want to bless us all to try to sit in and try to sit in that tension. And I think it's true of any community at the margin. If I'm a Black kid growing up in Baltimore and everyone thinks my experience is The Wire, that's really frustrating. There are a lot more experiences than that. And if I'm someone who had the experience of a Black kid on The Wire, then I feel really validated, like, wow, someone's showing my life, you know? So I think every time you're at the margin, the portrayal can never be true fully. What else do I want to share? I guess I want to share that, you know, none of the things that Shira experiences, and this is coming from a place of wanting to thoughtfully defend my faith and how amazing and empowering it is for me, none of the actions or rituals in Judaism that Shira shows pain with, like the mikvah, sex with her husband, prayer, or like community with other women, none of them are inherently oppressive. It is her relationship or the way it's been set up for her or her community norms that have made it oppressive for her. So for example, mikvah for me, and I teach a 10-week-long course about sex, love, and romance in Judaism to college students to explore Judaism's philosophy on things like mikvah. Mikvah to me is empowering. It's my philosophy of feminism. And there are many, many people, and most of the people in my world feel that way towards their Judaism, right? There's a lot of empowerment. And for Shira, for Esti, it wasn't that. And so I think it also challenges us to explore feminism in relation to choice. And I read a really cool article about that. How hair covering or not hair covering isn't in itself feminist. It's about the choice and what it means for that person. So I want to really bless everyone as I leave to next time they're watching media, news, TV, Instagram video about a community that they're not really deeply connected to know that it's one portrayal. And that while it might be true, it's really like one person's story. And to allow people to just represent themselves and not be carriers of a story for a whole group of people. And that's like what I try to do, is just speak from my own experience. And my experience of Orthodox Judaism is incredible, empowering, inspiring, nourishing. And Esti's wasn't. And not all Orthodox Jews agree with me, but I do believe that a person's well-being is more important than their observance. So if for Esti, she would live an oppressed, depressed, suppressed life as an Orthodox Jew, I'm so happy for her that in the merit of Passover, she was able to leap over that challenge and become the person she was meant to be. And for me, like, that person I was meant to be is an Orthodox Jew, and it feels freaking awesome. And I honor Netflix for taking on a really hard topic, and I honor everyone who's trying to process what it's like to have their story and their community, or one adjacent to their community, portrayed in a really honest and yet negative light. Shabbat Shalom! Woo!